You wake up, and before your feet touch the floor, your mind is already moving. Not toward anything in particular, just moving. There's a feeling you carry with you throughout the day, something you've grown so used to that you barely notice it anymore. It's a kind of hum, a low-grade tension, a sense that you should be doing something even when you're doing nothing at all. You sit down to rest, and the rest doesn't come. You close your eyes, and the thoughts keep turning. You tell yourself you're tired, and you are, but the tiredness never seems to leave. It sits with you, even after sleep, even after stillness, and you begin to wonder if rest is something you've forgotten how to feel. This is not a problem of the body. The body knows how to rest. It does so naturally when given the chance, but the mind is a different matter. The mind has learned to stay in motion even when there is nowhere to go, and over time, that motion becomes its default state. You are not restless because something is wrong with you. You are restless because you have trained yourself to be. Not intentionally, not consciously, but through 1,000 small habits, repeated over years, you have taught your mind that stillness is dangerous. That stopping means falling behind. That rest is something you earn, not something you allow. And so the mind never rests. It plans while you eat. It rehearses while you walk. It reviews, revises, and replays, even when there is nothing left to review. It becomes a machine that cannot turn off, because it no longer remembers what off feels like. And the exhaustion you feel is not the exhaustion of effort. It is the exhaustion of constant preparation for effort that never fully arrives. There is a concept in Japanese thought called ma. It refers to the space between things, the pause between notes in music, the silence between words, the emptiness that gives form to what surrounds it. In Western thinking, we often treat this space as nothing, as something to be filled. But in Eastern philosophy, ma is not absence, it is presence. It is the breath that allows the next breath to come. Without it, there is only noise. Without it, there is no rhythm, only relentlessness. Your mind has lost its ma. The space between thoughts has collapsed. One thought leads immediately to the next, and the next, and the next, with no room to breathe. You move from task to task, from worry to worry, from distraction to distraction, and there is never a moment where you simply stop and let the motion settle. You have become so accustomed to this pace that when you do stop, it feels wrong. It feels like laziness, like wasted time. And so you fill the space again, quickly, before the discomfort can take hold. But the discomfort is not the problem. The discomfort is the signal. It is your mind telling you that it has been running too long without rest, that it needs the pause, that it needs the ma. And when you refuse to give it that space, the exhaustion deepens. Not because you are doing too much, but because you are never allowing yourself to do nothing. Consider how you spend your quiet moments. You sit on a couch and your hand reaches for your phone. You wait in line and your eyes drop to a screen. You lie in bed and your mind begins to plan tomorrow or replay yesterday or construct a conversation that will never happen. There is always something, always a task, a thought, a stimulation. You have filled every gap with noise, and now the noise has become the baseline. Silence feels unbearable. Stillness feels like a void. And so you keep moving, keep scrolling, keep thinking, because the alternative feels too heavy to bear. But what you are avoiding is not emptiness, it is presence. It is the uncomfortable truth that when you stop distracting yourself, you are left with yourself. And that self is tired. It is carrying more than it can hold. It is holding tension you didn't know you were carrying, worries you haven't named, emotions you haven't felt, and so you keep moving because moving keeps you from feeling. And you tell yourself you'll rest later, when things calm down, when the work is done, when the time is right. But the time is never right, because the problem is not a lack of time, it is a lack of permission. You do not rest because you have not given yourself permission to rest. Not truly, you rest with guilt. You rest while thinking about what you should be doing instead. You rest while half monitoring your phone, your email, your responsibilities. You rest, but you do not release. And so the rest doesn't restore you. It only delays the exhaustion. And the exhaustion builds, layer by layer, until it becomes the texture of your days. The Stoics understood this well. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the mind should be like a promontory against which the waves crash, but which remains unmoved. Not because it is hard, not because it resists, but because it knows that the waves will come and the waves will pass, and there is no need to fight them. The mind does not need to engage with every thought. It does not need to solve every problem the moment it appears. It can simply observe. It can simply be. But this requires practice. It requires the willingness to sit with discomfort without reaching for a solution. You have been taught that a good mind is a busy mind, that productivity is the measure of worth, that rest is a reward for effort, not a requirement for living. And so you push, you optimize, you fill every hour with purpose, and when you cannot fill it with purpose, you fill it with distraction, and you believe that this is what it means to be engaged with life. But engagement is not the same as presence. You can be busy and entirely absent. You can be doing many things and feeling none of them. And when you live this way long enough, you forget what it feels like to simply be here, without agenda, without aim, without the need to justify your existence through action. This is why your mind never feels rested, because you have made rest conditional. You have made it something you have to earn, something you have to deserve, something you can only allow after everything else is done. But everything else is never done. There is always another task, another email, another worry, another thought, and so you wait. And while you wait, the exhaustion deepens. Not because you are weak, not because you are broken, but because you are human. And humans are not meant to run without rest. They are not meant to think without pause. They are not meant to carry the weight of 1,000 unfinished thoughts at all times. There is a practice in Zen called shikantaza. It means just sitting, not meditating with a goal, not focusing on the breath with the intention to calm the mind. Just sitting, just being, with no purpose other than to sit. And for most people, this is unbearable, because when you sit with no purpose, the mind rebels. It demands a task, it demands meaning, it demands something to do, and when you refuse to give it something, it floods you with noise, with discomfort, with restlessness, and you think this means you're doing it wrong. But this is exactly what it means to do it right, because the restlessness is not a sign of failure. It is a sign that you are finally allowing the mind to show you what it has been carrying all along. You are tired because you have not allowed yourself to feel the tiredness. You are restless because you have not allowed yourself to feel the rest. You are anxious because you have not allowed yourself to feel the silence beneath the anxiety. And so it builds, and it builds, and it builds, until the exhaustion is no longer just a feeling. It is a way of being. But it does not have to be. You can begin right now to create space, not by doing more, not by trying harder, but by doing less, by allowing the pause, by sitting with the discomfort of doing nothing and not rushing to fill it, by giving yourself permission to rest without justification, without guilt, without the need to earn it. This is not easy. It will feel wrong at first. It will feel like laziness, like waste, like failure. But it is none of those things. It is the recovery of something you have lost, the ability to be still without fear, the ability to rest without condition, the ability to let your mind stop moving, even for a moment, and trust that the world will not collapse in your absence. You do not need to fix yourself. You do not need to optimize your rest or schedule your stillness. You do not need to turn rest into another task. You simply need to allow it, to stop treating it as a reward and start treating it as a necessity, to understand that the mind, like the body, requires rest to function. And that rest is not the absence of effort, it is the space that makes effort possible. The Japanese garden is designed with intention, but also with emptiness. The stones are placed carefully, but there is more empty space than stone. The emptiness is not a failure of design, it is the design. It is what allows the stones to be seen. It is what allows the garden to breathe. Your mind is the same. It needs the emptiness. It needs the ma. It needs the space between thoughts, the pause between actions, the silence between words. Without it, there is only clutter, only noise, only exhaustion. And so you begin. Not with a plan, not with a method, but with a single breath, a single moment where you do nothing, where you allow the mind to be still, even if only for a second, and then another, and then another, not because you are trying to achieve stillness, but because you are allowing it, because you are giving yourself permission to stop, to rest, to be. The mind will resist. It will tell you there is no time. It will tell you there is too much to do. It will tell you that stillness is dangerous. But these are lies, not malicious lies, just old patterns, old beliefs, old fears. And like all old things, they lose their power when you stop feeding them. You are not broken. You are not weak. You are simply tired. And the tiredness is not a flaw. It is a message. It is your mind telling you that it has been carrying too much for too long, that it needs to rest, that it needs the space to breathe. And when you finally give it that space, something shifts. Not dramatically, not suddenly, but slowly, quietly. The hum begins to fade, the tension begins to release, and for the first time in a long time, you feel what it means to rest. Not as a break from life, but as a part of it. As something you allow, not something you earn. As something you need, not something you deserve. And in that rest, you find not emptiness, but presence. Not absence, but clarity. Not weakness, but strength. The quiet kind. The kind that does not need to prove itself. The kind that simply is.